Welcome to YouTube Analytics Explained, what your data is telling you. I'm very excited for this live stream. YouTube Analytics can feel like a hidden cave for a lot of creators. And what do I mean by that? It usually holds the answers we seek. But today we're going deep into analytics. I have in the description down below a YouTube glossary that is completely free, no email required. It is from us at the KDCC that might cover some terms you might need to know during this. So I highly recommend that you pull that up as we go through it. Now, I'm really excited for the stream today because live streams are so important when it comes to the different ways that we are going to just really focus on having things here today. Now, another thing I want to focus on is I am using a new streaming service. It's Mille Studios. You may have heard it, but let's get right into analytics. I don't want to waste any time today. Let's go ahead and pull up the glossary at first, but more importantly, YouTube Analytics. Now, I will be zooming in. I will be changing locations as we go through. So right off the bat, if you have not seen YouTube Analytics before, there are multiple ways you can get there. The way we're going to be focusing on here today is, of course, through the studio on desktop. Now, because of that, there are some things that are on mobile that we may have and may not have access to. I will be going in and out of camera. So the first thing I want you to pay attention to when it comes to your YouTube analytics is what we're focusing on here. This is the overview tab. What this tab's job to do is literally just focus on having everything as an overview. It doesn't go in depth. We are going to talk about things such as advanced mode today, dates, real time, live sub counts, live view counts, what our top content is, what do these things mean? And as we're going through all of it, there's going to be some chance for us to have deeper conversations. So I will say that as we continue to go through, we are going to have different ways. It's one of the things that I have really appreciated about YouTube is how much they give us for free. You have to understand, compared to other social medias, YouTube gives us a lot. So right now I am looking at this data in the last 28 days. Now, one question you might ask is, why does YouTube show analytic data in 28 days? Well, the reason for that is simple. Every month has 28 days, no matter what. We're in February at the time of the stream. If you're watching in the future, let me know when you watched. But here's the thing. It's one of those situations that when you look at analytics, you need to keep that in mind. I like looking at things in the first week, 28 days, 90 days, things like that. It's one of those things where I really appreciate everything they've added. Under that, we have content. Now, they've split out content quite a bit. And I really want to take a moment just to appreciate all they've done. Because if we look here, you could see that this is all the content put together, video content all in one place, shorts all in one place, and you can change this. So this will show you how you're doing in the last 7 days, the last 90 days, the last 365. I could sort by the lifetime of the channel. There's so many different ways that I could do this, and I really do appreciate all the different ways we can look at it. I think I'm just going to focus on the month we're in now, which is February. And so if I go to live, you can see my views for that, the impressions, click-through rate. You can see post. I need to make sure I'm posting more. Playlist, which we have talked about in depth, and I'll put a card on the screen for our whole playlist discussion we've had. So that is just these tabs. Now, the newest thing is new viewers versus regular viewers. And we're going to go into that a little bit later. They now show you views based on videos, shorts, live streams. So I can see that I've gotten 5,325 views specifically if I hover over here. And if as I'm keep going, I can see that I've gotten for shorts 3,781 views. For live streams over the last, month of February so far, 2,182. And then we can see typical views, and this gives me an idea. So my typical views in the first 48 days, or 28 days, I should say. This is important data because so many times people are like, I didn't get the views I thought I deserved. This data point right here, typical views, is telling you, and it's telling me, and it's telling everyone watching, whether that is Beanie Draws, whether that is Geology Dude, whether that is out and about with yours truly, Lizzo, that this is what we can expect when it comes, right? So one thing I will say is that when we look at this stuff, it is important that we take into consideration all the ways, right? So whether we are, highlighting people in the chat, whether we are focusing on our typical views, it's one of those situations where when we look at this, and we just share our screen here, understanding our typical views, what we normally get in a short, what we normally get on videos, what we normally get on a live stream is helpful for us to understand what we would naturally get. So I will say just be mindful of this. The next thing that's super important is published content. How many have I published in February? Live stream shorts, one of each. We're now on our second live stream. It's not here yet because it's live at the time of this. If you're in the replay, in the future, it'll be there. This tells you what your viewers are watching from you. Returning viewers specifically. So my returning viewers are pretty much only watching either videos only or watching both videos and live streams. So 26% of my audience watches both videos and lives. Videos and shorts, watching both is 22%. Shorts only is 17%, but most are watching videos only. Shorts and lives only, most are actually watching either shorts only or they're watching live only with 15% overlap. It's very interesting to see how they're coming from, at least here. Hello, Dimmy. Great to see you here. Dimmy joining us. Hello, hello, hello. And so as we're looking, the next thing I want to show is how are our viewers showing you? For me, I'm very focused on shorts, not really, search. And so here's the thing, right? When it comes to what I'm looking at, I want to make sure that we have this conversation. I make content that is search friendly, but I've been working on playlist and I've been working on browse and suggested when it comes to my content. And so in February, you're going to start seeing a little bit more playlist higher. I'm really trying to make sure that I show up in all the different kind of traffic types. Now, as we go deeper, my videos perform differently. You can see I get a lot of impressions. My impressions click-through rate. My videos can be a little shorter, so that makes sense that they're a little shorter here. If we go to all, this generalizes it, right? And we keep seeing new viewers. We keep seeing regular viewers. And then we see subscribers. They're broken out because they are not the same thing. YouTube is putting that separately, so should we. Now, when I look here, I want to make sure as we keep going that we look at audience. This right here, estimated total number of viewers in the past 28 days. This metric is calculated daily. Always look back at the previous 28 days. I've had months where this is up to 40K if I posted a few more shorts. I had months where it might be at 19.5K. This is only in February so far. It's not a full 28 days, not a full month, right? My subscribers are a little less, but I haven't posted as much. This is my third piece of content in the month. The more I post, the more I tend to see in the growth. I'm okay with that. Now, here's something I'm working on overall, which is getting my new viewers to become casual viewers and regular viewers. Now, I want to just state, this channel you're watching, it has been around for a while, but I took it very seriously in July of 2025. Now we're in February, and as I put out more content, my channel has been growing, and we've seen a lot of growth. But the growth is dependent on what me, the creative, is doing. And so when I think of that, it's something super important I need to be aware of, because the more we do here, the more I post, the higher my viewers go. You can see when I post, that's what this graph is telling you. And usually you'll see more monthly audience when you post more. It's not random that it goes higher the more I post. Then under that, to the left, what your audience watches, depending on if they're a brand new viewer, a casual viewer, or a regular viewer. Now you might be wondering, Andrew, what's the difference between new viewers, casual viewers, and regular viewers? I'm so glad you asked. New viewers are watched your channel for the first time. These are people who've never seen you before. Ideally, this is higher than the other two. Why? Because you're always trying to reach new viewers. Casual viewers are people who've watched your channel for at least 5 months now. That is about 4.2% of my audience currently. Again, started a little bit more recently. I just recently probably have enough data for the 6-month mark. Regular viewers is at 0.3%. When I started, it was at 0.1. So every time I publish, every time I post, this gets higher. That's good to know. Now, if we go over here, popular with different audiences, YouTube is showing you what tends to do well. You may remember this on Hero, Hub, and hygiene content. So help, or the beginning of that funnel, is what really does well with my new audience. In February, my live stream about the 25, made on YouTube 2025, all the new tools they put out did very well. I made a YouTube short talking about TubeBuddy's A/B testing tool versus YouTube's A/B testing tool. I know that a lot of people watch me from that. So I knew kind of how to appeal to them. Now, my casual viewers, notice how these videos are some of the same, but different. My new viewers may come to me for one thing, but my casual viewers have been watching for a while. And you may notice the one video that's the same is learn where to install acoustic foam, but the rest can change, and that's okay. So this shows about how many views it's got from those viewers and what video. And then if we go to regular, you're going to see my playlists are higher because I have people like Beanie in chat who does show up to a lot of things, right? And he says, interesting how the divider layout is slightly different in dark mode compared to light mode. Yes, there is a difference too. I tend to watch in light mode, but if you ever want to switch to dark mode, you can do so by clicking on your profile icon at the very top right-hand corner, switching that way. And also, this is good data to know. Now, if I were to change this data, let's say the last 90 days, this will also cause this to change. All of a sudden, we have my keywords tutorial, and that's why it's important to see what data you're looking at. Casual is going to be different too, and so it is, and new is actually very different. So you got to make sure when you're looking at that data as well. And then the reason I chose 90 days is this is the content performing, growing my audience in the last 90. It gives me an idea of how my viewers are returning. These are low performers, but again, I'm started again. This next part, if you're ever like, when are my audience on YouTube? This is super important to look at. Now, I wish this graph was a little bit easier to understand. It makes sense once you understand it, but it definitely, I think this still needs a refinement, and I hope that YouTube, I know they watch these streams. YouTube, if you're out there, first off, thanks for coming by. Second off, I think this is really helpful, and please, if you guys have thoughts, opinions, please comment. YouTube watches these things. So with that, I want to just comment that the colors here, some of your viewers, many of your viewers, more of your viewers, most of your viewers, I find this confuses more people than it helps. Some of my viewers, I wish it was like a little bit clearer in English, or there was a key. Now, I know why they may not. If you read down here, publish time is not known to directly affect the long time performance of a video. When I understand that, trust me, I do. But still, I think it could just be a little clearer. I'm curious what you guys think, though. It's one of those things where when I explain this to people, it's still, very difficult. Now, I see this. I think the graph is when, and yes, it does. It says right here, Beanie points out, I think it accounts for your local time. You don't have to think. It's on screen, Beanie. It's this right here. YouTube says that this is when viewers are on for your local time. So yes, Beanie is correct. It is on screen, but I want to call that out just in case. Now, the next thing is important because I've seen people who, they do normal videos and then they try shorts, but, they're like, no one's watching. Well, what are your formats your viewers are watching on YouTube in the last 28 days? You may not have an audience that is completely ready for this, right? So I think it's one of the things that you should definitely check. And if it's lower, that's fine. Because you've got to seed your audience. What do I mean by that? You've got to give them the opportunity so that when they are posting, when they're enjoying this content, they know that it's going to do. And it takes time. This is based on the last 28 days. I would tell you, because people ask this too, how often should I check analytics? If you know what you're doing, you should check it every day. And even if you don't know what you're doing, I'm going full screen. This is important. How often should I be checking YouTube analytics? Every single day. You should be checking every single day. And not only that, you should be asking questions in communities, whether it is a community on Reddit, whether it is community on Facebook, whether it's a Discord community like the Can't Do Creators community. You should be asking questions because it matters. And here's the thing. When you ask questions, you can get help. And if you have access to it, it's not always the best, but it is very helpful in my opinion. If you have access to Ask Studio, which I know is not available to everyone yet, but it is pretty good. Ask Studio can really help you better understand these things, right? So when I look here and I ask Studio, try saying that, ask Studio, I could ask it to help me understand some of this data that I may not understand, right? And that's why you should be looking at analytics. Now, obviously I'm here, we're going through it. If you are watching this, you can rewatch this. This is those things that YouTube, I make sure that any data we talk about is very helpful. People are saying in chat, going back to this graph here, that I have always found when your viewers are on to actually be pretty easy to follow, and mine makes sense for me: Sunday and Monday, American, Saturday and Sunday. I've seen the others where I see from Geology Dude, he highlights that, vidIQ uses the same data but has different times/days for when viewers are online. If that's the case, vidIQ, if they're using the same data but if it's not matching YouTube's, go with YouTube. All third-party tools are using the API, but YouTube has the most accurate information. Source, my time at TubeBuddy will tell you that, and vidIQ should be saying that too. Now, this next part I want to talk about is device type. Now, I have been told by people such as Kathy Fit in the audience that she watches my stuff on the TV. And according to this, 6.3% of my audience is watching on television. Computer is about 40.5%, but like most people, 70% used to be the stat we're watching on mobile. It's actually gone a lot more to TV. I have a majority still on mobile, but that's for all types of content. My videos, it changes. I have a little bit more on TV for my videos and less on computer, but mobile phone, 50%. Tablet starting to show up high. Actually, I think it stays the same. Shorts, TV goes down. I'm not watching shorts on TV. If you are, let me know why. I'm always curious on that. Then it's tablet, then it's computer. Obviously, phone makes the most sense. Live, however, we have the most TV viewers. If I'm broadcasting this to you and your TV, hello, happy to see you. Welcome to your living room. Hope it's clean. Hey, you missed a spot. Just kidding. So here's the different things, right? Mobile phone makes sense. All of this makes sense. I see Beanie says computer 40% represent. I tend to watch on computer, but to each their own. Always curious where you're watching from. But here's something I want to talk about. And this is so important. Subscriber bell notifications. I see so much hate for the subscription bell. On average, only 10 to 30% of subscribers who turn on all notification have this on for my channel. So they have all notifications on, and it's on typical 10 to 30%. I apparently have 17.1% who have all notifications on, or who have, subscribed. These are who's actually turned on all notifications for my channel. It's 4.8%. It is not. Beanie caught me off guard. He said, how does he know I missed a spot? Keep sweeping. It's all right. But this is a confusing thing, and I also almost misspoke. Even I can get tripped up. I'm not perfect. Let's read it again. So this is subscribers who have turned on all notifications for your channel. Typical on YouTube is 10 to 30%. It says that, but then it says subscribers who turned on all notification for your channel. So this is, a little confusing, and they enabled YouTube notifications. So this is the next step. This is about 4.8%. I'm actually below the typical. Now, here's something you should know. This is a newer feature. The subscription bell has changed over the years. When I started on YouTube, there was not a turn on all notifications option. It was just subscribe. If you are an older channel, that's normal. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, oh, people don't like my content. You might just have an older channel, and that's okay. That's actually something I've noticed on new channels will have this number on average higher because it's a feature that existed from the start of that channel. So that also goes into my theory on why, if you are wanting to try something new, try a new channel. You have features we didn't have back in the day, and that kind of stuff can harm a channel. It's not on purpose. It's just an accidental, unfortunate consequence. YouTube has nothing malicious on it, but it's something I've noticed on some of the channels I've helped. Now, watch time from subscribers. Most of my watch time, 91.9%, comes from non-subscribers. Welcome. If you have never subscribed, please consider subscribing if you found any of this helpful thus far. But subscribers is 8.1%, and to you, I say thank you. And I say thank you to my non-subs too. And then we have top geographies: United States, India, United Kingdom, Canada, Philippines. We can click see more. Now, my age and gender. Now, this has changed over the years. I used to have a much more female audience, but I've talked a lot more about AI recently, and I've noticed that my audience is now skewed a little bit more male. What does that mean? Audience has different interests, right? So one of the things I'm really passionate about, which is helping the creator space, is AI. However, that tends to be a more male-focused audience, and that's okay. In the last 90 days, it's starting to skew one way over the other. Now, this shows to me that I should balance that because I don't want to lose any of my audience. Right now, it's overperforming on new viewers, right? And if I look at all the data and I look at the story it's telling me, I have a lot more new viewers watching. I'm talking more recently about how AI can help creators. That audience tends to be a little more male skewing. The data is following what's happening with the changes of content in my channel. So what this signals to me. Because again, here's another thing people get wrong in YouTube analytics. Every single thing in your YouTube analytics are signals to us as creators. Think of YouTube analytics as your report card. That's why you need to check it every day. It's telling you what you want to know. So many times people are like, what does analytics do for you? It tells you how your audience is responding. On YouTube, we need to be focusing on viewer satisfaction, which is not only that they clicked the video, they watched the video, but they were happy with the video that they watched. They took something away from it. So this shows to me, as I'm looking here, that there's some work I could do to help that audience I've kind of lost by going a little bit too deep on too deep on some AI content. And this is not surprising to me. I look at this every day, but this is something I wanted to call out. Now, on my videos, it's a little higher, my shorts a little less, and lives even less. So this again shows me the different breakdown, right? Now, my audience is primarily ages 18 to 44. We noticed you 45 to 54, 55 to 64. Apparently, once you hit 65, you don't care. In the last 90 days, no one 65 and plus cared. 0%. Let's get that up. But I understand I may not be for everyone. But one thing I would keep in mind is that 13 to 17 is 0.2%. And this has actually slowly grown. I've noticed a little bit with shorts, not so much with live, a little on videos, mostly with shorts, and that's why this is overall 4%. We talked about an overview. Another thing that YouTube data is aggregated. There is a mean, an average, right? So that's one thing I would say when it's going through. I see from Home Rapid Repair, he says, on all videos, my female viewership is the same as your channel. Interesting. And so that, again, though, is that in the last 90 days, Larry? Because look, we can change how this shows. I'll hop in my time machine to boost up the 70. And then this is also interesting. Some people are like, should I focus on closed captions? The answer is yes. But then look at what audiences are watching. For me, Spanish auto-translated, English auto-translated, though I have mostly English. Majority is not watching them, but that's 16% who do. YouTube's a part of it. And here's why you should have closed captions. Even though a small fraction of my audience has been watching with closed captions, YouTube 100% of the time looks at my transcript and my closed captions to better understand what my videos, my live streams, my shorts are about. So by adding in closed captions, one, if people are watching long form videos or shorts muted, recently YouTube made it a feature where if your videos are muted, the captions show. That's more beneficial because they can still watch your video. Yes, they won't be able to hear our beautiful sound design or voices, but if they're still watching, that's something. And so having captions, good captions, is important. And that's why I advocate so hard. Not only that, it makes your content more accessible if you can, and you have people who speak multiple languages, consider that. So that's all the things to think about. Just some, food for thought. And we actually have something from Geology Dude who says, I'm 65 and I care, but it's tough to learn YouTube if you're old. My cell phone has a crank. I'm sorry, the visual of like a cranking cell phone just caught me off guard there, Geology Dude. But look, again, that's in the last 90 days. Maybe Geology Dude, this is the first piece of content you've watched from me in a while. That's fine. Actually, if I look here, we're at 0.1%. So I think videos, apparently, I don't know where that 0.1% is coming. I could, though, if I go to see more. So 0.1%. And that 0.1% is male. And this brings us into advanced mode. We're here a little early, but it's important to know. And this is an important thing to know about analytics. And this comes from Beanie. And I really do want to highlight this because I think this is also true. My true demographics are hard to define because I know a lot of my 25 to 54 and no 1.2%, 65% are parents or grandparents. So my female male split is 49.6 and 49.9%. Correct. Beanie's talking about something that's very true. Just because that's what they say on the account doesn't mean that's the only one watching. Similarly, if you ever go to a bar or you go to a restaurant and there's TVs on, they'll count that as one view, but it could be on for an entire bar. If there's a TV in the classroom and they're showing YouTube, or a projector, that counts as one view, but there are 20 people watching. It's not a perfect science because it can't account for that. There's no way YouTube would know how many people are in there. So there's some discrepancy there, but rest assured, what they are reporting is as accurate as they can get within reason, because the alternative is, well, how would you know unless you document it or find a way to document it? And I'm okay with some anonymousness out there. So the next thing I want us to look at is revenue. This is an exciting tab for some, not an exciting for others. I don't make a majority of my revenue through AdSense. This has not been, one of those things that I've been shy about. I make a lot of my money through brand deals, through sponsorships, through memberships, through different means. YouTube money is not bad, but it's not going to pay the bills. A lot of times it is cents, as in pennies on the dollar. Now, there are different ways, right? My watch page ads, which are, if you watched any ads, thank you for supporting the channel. It does matter. Short feeds ad, made $5 whole on all the shorts. And that's not nothing. $5. I've been to a point where that's a gallon of gas, and I've been to points. I don't take any of this lightly. Memberships. I have 2 members. These are just people that support the channel. Shout outs to those of you who do. Looking at you, Home Rapid Repair, who is also a channel member, who recently, he's having really good wins, success. Channel members get it done. We have some people like that. We have some supers and gifts. We have some affiliate, sales. So the affiliate program is interesting. I've made 146 in that and only got 3 there. That's fine. And I say only because, look, I understand. Trust me, when it comes to revenue, only is a dangerous word when it comes to money, because what you make, other people would kill for. Be careful in that only thinking. I even need to remind myself to be cautious. So with that, just showing. And this shows, your earnings over the last 6 months. The thing is, these are based on ads, not based on my actual reach. I have affiliate sales data that I tend to bring up when it comes to making brand deals, because yes, I like the affiliate page, and yes, I like it on YouTube. It's not perfect. It's a lot of physical goods. It's not a lot of digital goods, which is where I tend to make more sales on. So it's one of those things. And if you look here, in the last 90 days, out of the 40K views, my average is $3.57. Revenue, RPM, which if you're like, what is RPM? It's a great time to show you this again. This is the glossary I mentioned at the top, which is RPM, revenue per mil, your actual earnings per 1,000 video views after YouTube's 45% cut, includes all revenue, ad, premium, membership, super chats. This is the number that matters for your income. So, using the glossary in effect, if there's a word you didn't know, wanted to give you that chance. Now, if you look at your shorts, you'll notice that these are different. If we look at live, this video, the stream replay actually, has earned $30. And if we look here, that is more than some of my videos because of the value of longer content. Longer content can get more ads. My videos tend to be shorter. This video is one of my rare videos that is over 8 minutes. Same with this one, but these other ones are shorter videos. I make a video as long as they need to be and not a second more, and sometimes that takes a discount. So I would say that obviously if you're trying to make more money, make longer content on YouTube. That's not what I do it for. In fact, I actually, on these live streams, make sure I put the lowest amount of ads possible, because YouTube gets a little too excited with ads on the automatic system, if I may so. That's something I've talked to them about. They're aware. But then if we go, here it is in different ways. So we have watch page ads, supers and gifts, memberships, short feeds and ads, affiliate programs, things like that. These are different ways you can make money. Videos, same data, different way. Short feeds ad, there's some, when I've made 0.003, you might be like, how is this different? They might be searching for these shorts compared to the feed. Live, you can see the different ways that this is making some money. Now, some of that could be supers and gifts for some of these streams. I may have gotten 1 or 2 during those. And then, if we go to trends, this tab is one of my favorite tabs, but I'm not going to bore you. You should check out that video on screen there, all about this tab. It is great for video idea generation. It is one of the best places if you're like, what should I make next on YouTube? This could deserve its own stream. We have actually done a stream on it. And again, check that card or check the description. I'll make sure to after the stream to put this, or if you're watching the replay, it'll already be there. Then from there, we have in analytics, one of my favorite places, advanced mode. So we have talked everything when it comes to analytics. We've covered a lot. So if you have questions before we go into advanced mode, this is your time. Have questions, ask them on screen. And if you're like, hey, how do questions work? How to get your questions answered? boom, we have new graphics. And if you have another question and you're watching the replay and you're like, man, I do make my best effort to reply to all comments after the stream, but also you can join our Discord at any time, linked in the description. When asking a question in the YouTube chat, just start with hashtag question. It helps me notice it quickly. And it takes a moment. It might take me a moment to respond, just the nature of stream delay. If you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, I still get to them. And so just wanted to make sure that people are aware that this helps. And so, yes, that's how you can quickly do that. Now, the next thing I want to mention is that as we're talking about YouTube analytics, and trust me, I get it, it can be confusing, especially if you're using YouTube mobile. This is something I will tell you. If you have access, if you're using YouTube Studio on your phone, your analytics are limited compared to that on the desktop. So is your functionality. Now, you could open it in a Chrome window or a browser tab and go into desktop mode, and it works. It's just a little clunky. But unfortunately, YouTube desktop mode still works the best. And until then, that's what I'm going to recommend people to look at when it comes to YouTube analytics. I look at Studio on my phone a lot. It's great for signals. It's great for a lot of things. However, when it comes to using your YouTube analytics, please consider doing it on a desktop. It does so much for you. You might be surprised the difference is compared to some of those other places, right? And I tend to be surprised by it. So I would say use it and try to use what you have access to. If you only have it on your phone, use it only on your phone. If you have access to a computer and can use it, please, please, please consider doing that, right? Because all these things help. And when they help, that's what really matters, for those things. Now, I see we've had a lot of people joining in. We're having more people have these discussions. If you have a question, this is your chance. We're going on and going further. Now, we have something here from Ember who says, would be nice if the time on YouTube for live streams and long form content I don't care when shorts viewers are on because I see it mainly. Oh, so you're wanting to separate when your viewers for each content type are on. That would be useful because they have separated. I actually would like to know when my regular, my casual viewers are on. That's all stuff that's helpful. I see Chantel Hills in the chat, who, very good to see you, says hello. Good to see you all. Good to see you. So yeah, I actually agree that that could be very helpful when it comes to the audience tab here, is knowing when specific audience and knowing different kind of viewers. So whether it is the shorts viewers, the live stream viewers, or the long form video viewers, that would be helpful to know. I also want them to go further. YouTube, you have podcasts. What if this is a podcast channel? This is a hard thing to know. So I would love to see that for podcast. Now we do need to go to another tab because as we're breaking this down, there's stuff we should focus on, such as retention graphs. We're not done with the basics. This is, I'd call, intermediate analytics. You should look at spikes. If there are spikes in your videos, that could actually be a great place to make it a YouTube short. I talk about keyword placement here. This could be a whole point I make a short out of that directs back to this long form video. You should also notice dips. I have dips here. I think I know what this is. Yes, I know exactly where this is in this video, but it's okay. You got to know your videos. The dip here is when I'm no longer on screen and it's just my cat. That's fine. Look at your intros. See which ones are doing well. Another thing is on shorts, there's something different called viewers. This is known as stayed to watch versus a swipe away rate. You want your stayed to watch rate to be higher than your swipe away rate. But when you're looking at analytics, make sure you give different ways. Last 28 days are better than 90 days. And the last 7 days are even better than that because I've been getting better, right? So if I look at the wrong data, I might be getting wrong reports. And that's why it's important to understand the difference between all of this. So in February, I've had a few shorts I've been testing. It was better and it's doing better. So if I go to videos similarly, this video I did on the Stream Deck Mini, I went and made sure it was an interesting first shot. And, it's one of those things where I spent a little bit more time in the beginning. And even this doesn't tell me the full story. But this is in the videos tab. If we go to the live stream tab, this does have different results. So my live streams have gotten more impressions lately. They've gotten more views lately. The watch time's actually a little bit higher, but you got to remember, this is averaged. This is the estimated average. All of this is something important to realize, is that some of this can be averaged. Your click-through rate is how often viewers see. You're wondering if it's high or low. This is an average because if we go deeper, it will be different. And that's one of those things. Ooh, swipe away rate. That's a good analytic to have, say Beanie. Absolutely, you should be tracking that. Swipe away rate is good. So Outbout with yours truly, Liz OC says, what is a good time to post a video? That's a great question. You would go to your audience tab, and then you would go to when your viewers are online. Now from here, you would want ideally a little bit before when most of your viewers are on. So if you have, like on Saturday, I have many of my viewers are on around 7 a.m. and then a majority of them are on from 7 to 10 a.m. my local time. If I were to post on Monday, that is also a good time because it has the most of when my viewers are on. Thursday would be harder for me because only at 8 a.m. are most of my viewers on at my local time. And then if I post a video at midnight, it's not going to do that well on a Monday. Now, granted, publish time is not known to affect long-term performance, but it can affect that short term. And view velocity is found within those first 48 hours. So ideally, another thing I would tell you is if many of my viewers are on at 7, I like to use, I will try to publish the video and I will keep in mind, this is going to be different per audience. This main thing I want to call out is when your viewers are on. So out and about truly Liz OC, this is going to be different from you. So check this for your audience if you have that information. If you don't have any when your viewers are on information, you want to go and think globally, right? I've talked about how this live stream used to be at a different time, but I noticed that when I go live is a little bit better for my audience and my schedule. That's just as important. Yes, there could be a best time to go live. Try to schedule for that if you can. But for me, because of how my life works and when I can go live, this is the best time, and I've seen the best audience results going live at this time. So, that's also important, is to do what works best for you. That's advice I've given for a long time. So that's how you can find that. We're going to go back to the different content types because I want to talk about some deeper analytics. And in fact, we'll use this video as my example. Now we are looking at overall analytics, and I can see that this has an average percentage view. If you hover over it, gives you actually some more information. A lot of people don't know that you can hover. You should always be hovering. Go to video analytics. So this is our analytics overview, but each video you upload, each piece of content has overall specific analytics, and they have their own tabs too. Impressions, click-through rate, views, unique viewers. All of these things should matter. Beanie also has a very helpful suggestion if you don't have best time to view. Now keep in mind, once you get that data, use that. But if you do not have it, use your geographics. The top 2 to 3 should be the hours to focus on. And if your audience are adults, factor in lunch break, end of day, mornings, and weekends. Very solid advice from Beanie. You got to be available when your people are available. If you have an audience mostly in the US and you're posting at 3 in the morning, but it's 3 in the morning Eastern time and your audience is on in like 8 a.m. Eastern, you missed a huge portion of them in that first bit. And keep in mind, the way the feed works is that if they're looking at subscription, which not everyone does, and I know people get notifications, but they're going to get lots over the day. You're not the only channel they're subscribed to. So you're not only competing with the platform, you're competing with their subscription list. It's not a bad thing, just something to know. Now, this video has 6.2 thousand impressions. Now, an impression is a total number of times your video thumbnail was shown to viewers since the video was published. So that means this has been shown to 16,200 viewers. That's a pretty great number. The impressions click-through rate, it fluctuates, and this is also an average. So this is an average rate, right? So when it first came out, it took a little bit. This is newer for my audience, but boom, YouTube figured out who it is. My views compared to typical was much higher because I understand the search game. This was a new feature. I really appreciated it. My unique viewers are higher. Now, unique viewers, if we hover, is the estimated number of people that watch your content within the selected date range. Unique viewers are unique to my channel. They have not seen this content before. Majority of these viewers are new. Search, external, and it's doing okay in browse. Suggested. This is something I'm working on. I actually tested this. There was not enough data to know for sure, so I just ended up going with Stream Deck Mini, kept it what it was, tried a little thing, things like that. Then I can see external. This does well in Google. This does well in DuckDuckGo. YouTube keeps showing up lately. In some instances, not all details of the referral embedding are known. Such traffic may be shown under YouTube because the video is played within the YouTube player, regardless of the external location. So I actually have noticed, and this is something I have a lot of videos embedded on my website, and my YouTube, since doing that, has gone up in external. So those are people that are watching from the website. This is a great moment to remind you, if you are ever wondering, what do these terms mean? We have this very helpful YouTube glossary linked, top link in the description, where you can try, and if you have a question about what any of these things means, please look it up here. We have a lot of terms. It's not a full list. If you have a term that's not here, let us know in the Discord. Let us know. We're always trying to make this better. But there's a lot of terms, and I try my best to write them in as plain English as possible. So that's something to think. Content suggesting it. I can see different videos. I can see how people are searching, right? Stream Deck Mini, Discord, Elgato. They're taught because this is an Elgato. No, in full disclosure, I am an Elgato ambassador. I am a partner of theirs. They sent me this device, but they did not sponsor the stream. I want to make sure I say that. If anything, this stream is sponsored loosely, because I own the community, by the Can Do Creator community. If you would like to join the community, we have a completely free Discord. We have glossaries. We have so many free resources for you. Consider doing it. So I would just say that's something to keep in mind. But the thing is, when it comes to what we are doing, you want to look at all these things, because one thing people take for granted is search. YouTube search terms brought viewers to your videos. All of these are important. They should be in your video's title, your description. They should be in your transcript, what you say in the video. This one was intentionally, very, very thoughtfully made with those searching viewers in mind. I would say that the next thing I want to focus on is interest in your content. And here's a key one: since published. If we change this, and maybe we go to the last 28 days, this is still since published. And this can be different. I gained 1 subscriber. We have different stuff. If we go to the last 90, this might be higher. So this will change. But here's what I want us to look and focus on. And I know we've talked about a lot of data. Stay with me, folks. Stay with me. We're not losing you yet. I hope I'm not losing you yet anyway. Let's go full screen. Now, what I want to show you is this right here can get people tripped up. Actually, I think I can be on screen. This right here trips a lot of people up. This right here explains so much. Audience retention shows how different moments of your video held viewers' attention. It's a percentage of total views. Keep in mind, it can go higher than 100% depending on whether people rewind or rewatch. So people are like, how can I have higher than 100%? Well, if people watch it multiple times. I've seen videos with 400% watch time. Now, usually those are shorts, but that means people watch in loops multiple times. So that's something to keep in mind. I do see this with Out and About, who says live streams help to gain subscribers and watch count. They can actually help with views. I've had a whole thing there. Beanie says, shout outs to Spyro. Absolutely. That was a very intentional opening shot. Let's show the thing. But if you look, this is a Discord edition. I have a Discord server. This actually made sense. One of my more popular videos is about Discord and how to join our server. So that was kind of the idea here when it came to this collab. But one of the things I would tell you is you should look at compared to other videos, because this is helpful. Shows how your video's audience retention compares to all YouTube videos of similar length. If you only look at audience retention, you're only getting part of the story. You've got to go deeper. This one I love because this can give you an idea. Compared to other videos, I start average, above average here, and this is just me talking about the thing. But where do I start going below average? Ironically, it's when I talk about, some of the Discord and my own Discord server. And then we go above average when we talk about how you can get the thing. And we go above average when we talk about what it can do and how it works. So if I were to want to make a YouTube short, I should probably focus it from here, which is a spike right here, onward till about here. And then if we go, I'm talking about different ways you can set it up. It's average. I talk about the value. And this is where pretty much the video ends. And the audience tells me it ends here too. It's the first time we dip below average. And look, this is one of those situations where I love my videos. I'm always looking to get better. I missed the mark at the ending here, and I spent a little bit too much time not getting to what they wanted. This is also where I had to talk about how you can get it. And so I get why people skip ahead. It's the nature of the kind of content, right? So you should study this. Another one is, if you have enough one, is detailed activity. And this one is interesting. It tells you where people started watching and where they stopped. A majority who stopped watching on this 217 watch all the way to the end. That's when they stopped watching. But none of them start there, because that means that that'd be weird. You know? And Home Rapid Repair, he's asking, what's with that stip drop off? Did I use closing language? Yes. I also reminded them where they could pick it up. It is a sponsored video. Sponsors have different requirements. Well, it's not a sponsored. Technically, yes, it is. They sent me the product to review. Well, not review. This is impressions. I don't do paid reviews. I do sponsored impressions, where I'll tell you what I think about the thing. But that is an important thing. That's been in my ethics, which you can also see on our website. We don't do paid reviews, but they do have sometimes. Sponsors have things you must say multiple times. So that's not what I typically would do, but yes, it did have some closing language. I see from Debonair Dylan, I have been making videos about the history of ice hockey, so my audience seems to be mostly Canadians now. That also could be helped by the heated rivalry craze that is out there. That has Canada tends to be a big proponent of hockey, and especially that one. So yes, to answer your question, it did have closing language. Now, I think this works here. If it does, I wish actually, because I rarely want to hear myself. YouTube, give us closed captions here. I add captions. I would love to know exactly what I'm saying, but I don't want to hear myself, YouTube. Just some feedback. But this is an important report, right? And if you're wondering how to get back to where we were, how do I get back to analytics as a whole? You can expand this menu, or actually you click out here, go to analytics, videos, and then I could say, let's go to the YouTube tags. The truth. Are they worth it or worthless? This one has a spike. So I want to go here, go to video analytics. This one doesn't have any closing language, but I can see this one's doing well in external. It's got a decent start. Let's go to see more. Now, we're going to go to compared to other videos. And this one, way above average, because I knew the audience I was trying to reach here. This is one of those things when it comes to talking about it. I know what people tend to look at. I talk about my time. We have a high moment where people are like, this is some text on screen. We talk about chapters. We talk about different ways. I give this segment, I should probably make a short, since this was our spike in this video. And this is helpful because I actually have captions here. So yeah, that is what I would say. So when I look here, this one, we're in average and we go below average. I actually stopped doing the cards because they were hurting. It wasn't serving me. This is when I would see consistent drops. So now I don't even let you know. And Home Rapid Repairs has a question. Do they rewind? That does seem to happen. They definitely do rewind. So having text on screen can be helpful if it makes sense. We have a question from Beanie. And let's go full screen for this because I think it's relevant. How did you get to the higher, low, high, lower performance graph again? Yeah, let's go through this one more time. This is an important thing. If you're wondering, how do I get to the different, above average audience view? So the way you get there is you're going to want to go ahead in your advanced mode on an individual video page. You can get there by clicking overview here. You can actually go and see engagement here. You can go either overview or engagement. Scroll to the bottom, click on see more. Once you click see more, do keep in mind that this is since, this has been live. You can then go to chart options on the left-hand side. This is only on desktop. Again, it goes back to what we said earlier in the stream. Click on audience retention. compared to other videos. And that's how you can see above average, average, low, below average. So low, average, high here on the right. And it gives you an idea. It is weird that YouTube defaults to closed captions even when I have provided actual captions, says Geology Dude. Yeah, I think they're still working on some things. When the thing I would also say is this depends your audience. You need to watch this and take yourself out of it. Be critical. This dip here is when I explain, my time at TubeBuddy and the tags. Why I need to say this is because I've had a long history of YouTube tools and tags, and I need to make sure that people might wonder, hey, Andrew, didn't you used to recommend tags? Yes, because back in the day they worked. It's not that I don't recommend them now. There's just other things you should focus on. I don't recommend them as much. You should watch this video if you want my full opinion. But this is ways you can find it. In terms of audience, this earned me 8 subscribers. This gives me an idea that a majority of the people are watching this on computer, mobile, TV, and tablet. And then I can see the age and gender. There's not enough data. I can see that most of this since a lifetime came from not subscribed. And I can see my top geographies, a lot of US viewers. So this is helpful for me to know. And it's helpful for us to see individually. Now, here's some more stuff you may not know about analytics. This is going to be different than our shorts analytics. So this short's doing pretty well. And that shorts analytics has different metrics. There are engaged views, which is how many times a viewer has stayed to watch past the initial 3 seconds. And there are unique views, which are, if they see it for a second, it's a view. Watch time, this is earned 3.3 hours. The average view duration of a 42 is about, this 42 second short is about half. And if you look here, about half stay to watch. I can also see that the hook, pretty compelling, and then it falls off. That's normal for shorts. Ideally, you want your shorts to be pretty flat. I have some that are exactly flat and they do really well for me. This is where you can get, really well. Also, this is how I would study this graph. This is my place to hook them. I did a pretty good job of hooking. Now, the beauty of this, back when I worked at TubeBuddy, I knew this would hook people. I probably spent too much time talking about how it's not a real A/B test. That's fine. May have lost them. But compared to others, this also shows me that it's just kind of an average short. It doesn't go below, but the thing they found the most helpful is actually for the people that watch was at the end, not the beginning. Now, I knew that. I will tell you the ironic part of this was a short experiment I did. I cut this part out of that long form video. This was originally here, but I thought it might bore people. And guess what, everyone? I was right. And what do I get for being right? Well, less watch time. But this is a way to test, right? Because sometimes you can overload your videos with not super relevant information. Ironically, in the actual end edit of this video, it is about here to around here. So I was right in my theory, but I tested it on shorts to see maybe I was wrong, but I wasn't. And that's okay. That's why I say always be testing. So you should still look at retention even if it's a short. Now I want to talk about hypes. If you don't know what hype is, that's not all hype. Sorry. It is a feature primarily on mobile right now where you can give people with under 500,000 subscribers, you can help their videos, in theory, get seen by more people by hyping them. When you hype a video, it gets into a leaderboard. It could get shared more. I've seen videos that said this has been hyped by a community. It is kind of cool and important to look at. Another thing to keep in mind, that this compared to my likes versus dislikes shows that this one's actually more liked on my shorts compared to my channel average. But interesting, I don't understand why this one's still here. End screen element click-through rate, but I get it. This is not a remix, so I get why it's like that. Audience, unique viewers, it has new, my casual viewers, my regular viewers are interested too. So this actually has a higher percentage of regular viewers compared to some others. Now, Beanie has a question and he said, based on your low first half, based on your low first half to high end half, what does that imply again? I found that interesting and I see that in my videos. If you have a high watch time in the beginning, the hook's pretty good, especially, this is for shorts though, not long form. Don't make that mistake. This the same per content. I know you make a lot of long form beauty. Don't take this to be the same thing. These are shorts. Videos are videos. While similar, not the same thing. So for my short there, what that meant is there's a lot of interest. I did a good job to get them in when they were scrolling past that first 3 seconds. But the ending, this part at the end, they found way more interesting than the middle. So I need to figure out what I did that was interesting at the end, put that way sooner. So that's what you can read from that. Very important we make those distinctions. Now, as we go back, one thing to also keep in mind is what viewers also watch. A lot of this is my content, and that's good to see. These are some people that really watch my content regularly, and I'm grateful. But apparently, no women watched, which I'm doubtful that 0 women watched this short, but maybe. I mean, again, this goes back to the device. But we have Indonesian translated. Interesting to see Indonesia shop up. Hello, apa kabar? Nama saya Andrew. Terima kasih. Untuk. I don't know what the word for watching is, but thank you. So, as we continue, we are not done. Now, live this is something I saw earlier, actually. So, do you have? We have something from Debonair Dylan. I want to take a moment, and because this might be a question someone else has. Do you have any information yet on questions on long videos? I've tried it, but only one person. Are you talking about the quizzes feature? If so, this is such a new feature that came out at the time of this video about a week ago that it's very hard for me to give you a definitive answer. I've seen some channels use quizzes, which is a new end screen feature, pretty well. There are also quizzes and posts, which I have had a lot of success on. So based on quizzes and posts, it depends. Are you talking about post quizzes? Or are you talking about video quizzes? There's a lot of different information. Great to see you, flash in your pan. Happy to have you here with us. But yeah, there's a lot of similar naming sometimes when it comes to a YouTube feature, so gotta be careful there. But I did see a comment earlier that lives can't get views. I used to think that. I actually had a very long thread discussion. They can. It just depends. So one thing that I see people are commenting, what are quizzes? This is a newer feature at the time of this. If you're watching in the future, it will have its own analytics data. So if I were to, for example, go to analytics and I go to the editor tab on the left-hand side, you may notice the new quizzes. Quizzes is a new type of card. Add a quiz. So I could ask, what percentage of YouTube videos that perform well have a custom thumbnail? Answer, 50%. Answer, 75%. Answer, 90%. Answer, 100%. The answer is actually 95, but this is how you would do a quiz. Similar to cards, I could put it maybe further in the video, see how it does. It is a newer feature. It's one of those things where, quiz your audience. This is how I would probably do it. So those are my answers. I would add this quiz. I believe if I hit cancel, it's not letting me save. Here's the thing about doing it live. I have been experimenting with quizzes other places. I think actually this explains the answer. Yeah. So quiz your audience. This comes from YouTube themselves in their YouTube Google help articles. 90% of successful videos have custom thumbnails. And this is how you describe the answer. This might be helpful if you're trying to do it. I did ask this question early in. It could be a way that if I combine this with where people drop in my audience, once a quiz is saved, you won't be able to edit it. You can make changes. You must delete the existing quiz to create a new one. Please note, deletion is permanent and can't be undone. Interesting there from YouTube. So let's open up the analytics in a new tab. And here's what I'd tell you if you're looking for a moment where people might be dropping, right? Let's go to see more on A/B testing. Let's go to audience retention compared to other videos. I start pretty low. We talk about A/B testing. I'm losing them around here, which I know I don't talk about. I'm also losing them around here, interestingly enough, when I actually show off the different kind of A/B test. I guess people I'm starting to lose them here where I'm talking about running diverse tests. I only hit below average here. So maybe where I engage them is at 2 minutes 55 seconds, right? So I'm using my data here to know when I should quiz them. So I want to quiz them a little bit earlier than the drop off, probably around here. Save those changes. Yes, I'm okay with it. And now what this is going to do is that it's going to add it to it. And now as we hit play, it should go ahead. I don't know if it actually shows it in this window. No, I think I got to watch the actual. No. I love YouTube. This is it's important to answer this question fairly, but as I said earlier, if you're muted, it'll auto show captions. The importance of having good captions now for normal videos as well. Let's hit play. Let's show the quiz. I don't think it's mobile only. It also could just take time to load. So we'll get back to that. We're getting a little off the rails. It's not what we're here to do, but that is how you add quizzes. I've seen people see more. I always think, oh, that's fair when you think of Smithers. So now we talked a lot about analytics. We talked about the different types. There's types for lives that are different than the types for shorts, that are different than the types for playlists. Playlist analytics are different. Everything is different. And do you understand now? Well, I get your frustrations with YouTube analytics. You see, I love analytics, but it's a lot. And let's just take a moment, breathe. It is a lot. Take it a step at a time, a day at a time. Look at different things, ask questions, join a community. If you're starting with YouTube analytics, the biggest mistake you can make is doing them by yourself. Ask questions, join communities. There's so many free, amazing communities out there that you can join that can make this a lot easier. And so I'd highly recommend when you're looking at your analytics, ask questions. So when I'm looking here, this shows you the power of playlist analytics. And if I click in deeper, they have their own analytics. So this Adobe Express playlist I talked about is doing very well. It's got 1.4 thousand views that came from this playlist. 2.9 thousand views, 60 hours. Look at that watch time. You know, that's pretty impressive. That's a lot of watch time. We go to content, it'll tell you which ones are performing. My watch time is going up. It's increasing, and it tells you what it's increasing by. It gives you an idea of how things are doing. Content type, where they're watching. This is growing my subs. It's growing my views. So I saw a comment earlier that said live streams can't grow your channel, or they don't. They didn't say can't. They said don't. They can. They absolutely can. But you have to have intentionality with all your content, and live streams are no different. And I was guilty of making that accidental mistake too. Now, if you have access to Ask Studios, you can click on Ask Studio here, and it will give you some answers. So I asked Ask Studio, how did viewers find my content? And it'll tell you. It breaks it down. Hello, Andrew Can. I'm Ask Studio, your AI creative partner. It's just got a little pep in its step. That's how I always read it in my head because it's always so positive. And it tells me a percentage of viewers, where they're coming from. Playlist is a big one. People always sleep on it. Unknown, mobile direct, search, external, shorts, double down on search, maximize external sharing, leverage playlists. Those are some quick top line. If you have access to this feature, it's very helpful. It's in limited locations now, but it's expanding every time. And hopefully if you're watching this replay, it is to you here. So this is some really good questions. How many new viewers did my audience reach? This is another thing I could ask it. And this is one of the questions where I will take myself off screen so you guys can see. This is right here. It was a default question in Ask Studio. These are some of them. In the last 28 days, my new viewers is 17,000. My total unique is 19,000. And growth from prior period is up. So that's good. It says I should entice a second watch. I need to consider doing that. Group content with playlists. I am doing that. Ironically, I do have a signature closing. But what this might be telling me is that I am not saying it close enough to the end. So I might be actually waiting too long on my signature closing. But okay, fair enough. And then the last one is summarize my latest video performance. I'm going to click on this just to show Ask Studio. It's a part of analytics. It's showing there's more things. We're not done. And this is the beauty of analytics. There's so much to look at. You can rewatch this stream. If you have questions, ask it in the comments. I guarantee you others have the same questions. It's letting me know. Tip for early momentum, promote the replay, optimize title and thumbnail, add chapters or table content. I do all of this, so it's good. It said It was published very recently. This is still going live. What do you mean? What? That's a little funny. This is why, look, it says AI can make mistakes. Yeah, it can make mistakes. We're not done yet. I love Ask Studio. It is such a treat. I'm very, you know what? I'm very satisfied with that answer. It told me I should optimize a live stream better while I was still live. Great feedback. 10 out of 10. Very satisfied. In all seriousness, this is where, in all seriousness, please consider this possibility. I was very satisfied with that answer. Oh, nothing can bring you that kind of joy. Beanie's asking a really important question. How do I get access? It's currently only available in select locations. It will be available to more locations. Right now, I believe it's New Zealand, Canada, US, and India at the time of the stream. It'll be more in the future, so you should have it eventually. So that's something to keep in mind. Ask Studio is at the very top if you're in one of those locations. If you are watching this in the future, still check it might be available to you. Now, let us go back to seeing some of this right now. So the next thing I want to talk about is post. And here's where you could check. I would really focus on likes here. That's what YouTube wants. Sharing a video, I wish there was more. There is if you click see more. It's not exactly great. It gives you an idea of post impression, post like. This is like impressions are still important. The post like rate. These are the most important things for your community posts. I usually say post more. I've been guilty. I actually am going to do a whole stream actually maybe someday about, community tab posting. I think it could be valuable. Let me know if that's something you'd want to see. But they're different things. But now, and I've teased this, and if you've looked at the chapters, if you're watching this replay or if you've been waiting patiently live, thank you. Let's talk about advanced mode. He's been ready for this. In the top right-hand corner, there's advanced mode. And boy, if you thought this was helpful, advanced mode could be even more. We're going to click on it. And this is going to give us a world of opportunity. Now, here's the important things you need to look. It reads order of importance, left to right, like in US-based English. Your controls of everything we're touching are going to be over here. We're going through it. Now, it's funny because Beanie said, I noticed your streams tend to be about 50 minutes. Close. They're usually an hour. I don't mind if this one goes longer. Analytics need time. Now, the date when you can change this, similar to before, here. Breakdown. Different things. These are all different. Content, traffic source, geography, everything has a different result. Metrics, they're different results. Videos added is one. Videos added is not available in the current breakdown. There's a lot that are not available together as you use these more. There's a lot of things here, folks. Advanced mode is, as it says, advanced. And each of these could use their own breakdown. Thankfully, you're watching a live stream for that. So the next thing I want to talk about is reporting. Reporting has been moved to the top because these are some of the most important reports you should see, and YouTube wanted to make it easy for us. We're going to start with advanced mode reports. Click here. This is our top content in the last 28 days. It's going to show it, and it's content. As we learned before, it groups content together. So we're going to have shorts. We're going to have live streams. We're going to have normal videos. It still can sort by views, but if I want, I can sort this by watch time. And if we do it on watch time, this video still overperforms on this live stream. This video does better than some other live streams, but the views aren't as well. If I care what's getting me the most subscribers, well, my channel guideline stream followed by some live streams, followed by some other content. So this is helpful if I want to know what it's doing. So these are different ways I can look at this in the reports, but it's showing top content in the last 28 days. Now, let's say I'm trying to figure out where most of my audience is coming from. Let's switch the report to top traffic sources in the last 28 days. It is search, external, the shorts feed, playlists, and if I'm curious on any of these, search term used by viewers to find your YouTube content, external, traffic source from websites and apps that embed your video or link to your video, shorts feed, the traffic from the shorts feed, playlist, traffic from any playlist that include your video. This can be your own playlist or another user's playlist, direct or unknown, traffic from direct URL entry, bookmarks, and unified apps, browse, traffic from the homepage, home screen, suggested, views from suggested appearing along other content, other YouTube features, traffic within YouTube that doesn't fall in any category, such as views from partner promotions or the dashboard. There's so much. Channel pages, traffic from your YouTube channel page, related short, traffic from the related short section. There's so much, but we're not there. And yes, if you're wondering where Ask Studio is, and I'll use it again, it is this symbol right here, right between this and this. This is YouTube chat support if you have access to that. Want to make sure it's super clear. To get back to advanced mode, once you're in your overview tab, click advanced mode in the top right hand corner. We were in traffic sources. To get back to that report, we go to the top where it says report, go to traffic sources in the last 28 days. We were near related shorts. We see that's 87 views. End screens, traffic from the creator made end screen or another video ad end screen. Views from notification and emails. A lot of times people see notifications. They forget emails count too. Video cards and annotations. Some videos are coming from videos that have old school YouTube annotations that are no longer a feature they support, but they're still there. Hashtag pages. This is traffic from hashtags. You should add 3 hashtags at minimum at the bottom of your description. They should not be at the top. They should be at the very bottom. It's a different way. Remix videos are traffic from videos you've remixed using YouTube's own features. You can see the impressions from these. In advanced mode, if I don't care about subscribers, I can hide. If I don't care about revenue, I can hide. If I just want to see, these stats, I can. If I want to just go deeper, I can click through and just see that. But we're going back to the reports, and we're going to go to top geographies because all of these things matter. Welcome, Doug, who is working and lurking. If you're a worker and lurker, I understand. Just always say hi. Thank you, Doug, for saying hi. Do we have any questions? I know we've gone very fast, but if you have questions, please let me know. Want to make sure that we take a time. I understand advanced mode as well. Advanced. And I know it very well. So I'm trying to show you how to get to places multiple times. If you have another question and you're like, how do I do it? I guarantee you someone else might have it. It's not a problem at all to show again. I don't mind. So just want to make sure. With that said, we're now going to look at, if we go to the reports, top geographies. India is slowly rising for me. United Kingdom, Canada, Philippines, Australia, Germany, Indonesia, shout out Indonesia, France, shout out Poland, all these locations. YouTube is a global platform. Here are some unknowns. Unknown, and then some others. So just some way. And there we go. Now, we have talked about top content, where if we click reports, you can do that. If we go to top traffic sources, you can click there. Let's go by audience, by age, and gender. Now, if we go lifetime, you can see that overall, I've kind of skewed back to where I started. We can click lifetime here, or you can go. Over the last few years, it has been more female skewing, but if I look at the lifetime history of my channel, I guess it's always kind of been a little more male skewing. So it depends when I look at my audience. If we go to audience by size and growth, it'll go to the last 28 days. These reports are all very helpful. 19,473 estimated total number of viewers in the past 28 days. This metric is calculated daily, always looking back at previous 28 days from that specific date. Very important information to know. Next thing is we could change this to last 90, right? And this might change and it'll show you how this graph goes, right? And it can fluctuate. So it said to check it out. We're in a higher end of the fluctuation. Now, we can do first 24-hour video performance. What does this mean? These are your top performers. Now, here's the problem. If you include shorts, it can over-index highly on shorts. You can change this range. These are the top performing videos, regardless of content type. It's a very important thing to know because you should look at the topics. This is a question I asked and I used a feature, a poll. Of course, it's going to do well. People voted. They enjoyed the poll. I talk about making money without AdSense, and I link to another video with it. Pick a YouTube tool that does this. I talk about how you pick YouTube tools. These are all high interest to my core audience, and it makes sense that they're here. My bottom performing being mostly my live streams makes sense. My live streams do okay. Live streams can have different view counts within how they perform. I've had live streams that picked up way later, as we showed earlier. I'm okay with whatever audience I have watching live. I'm so happy you're here watching with me. I've seen this. I've seen this. Oh, if he has 1 million subs, why does he only have 4,000 people watching? If 4,000 people are in front of you in an event, you could be a keynote speaker. Just because total subscriber count doesn't mean that's how much percentage of your audience watch everything. We could check in your analytics how much of your audience watches one thing or the other. So I just wanted to make sure. I did get asked by is truly, yours truly, Liz OC, is your full-time job on YouTube? My full-time job has been on YouTube for the last 13 years. I've been lucky and fortunate enough through all my hard work and through all the work of those around me who believed in me to work for many YouTube channels. I've done YouTube professionally for 13 years. I have helped channels earn silver, gold, and diamond play buttons. It is one of the greatest privileges of my life to be able to help creators on YouTube to tell stories. And so many creators have stories to tell. A great example of that is Beanie, yourself. So that's some of the things to keep in mind. I see that I missed some of your questions earlier. Again, it's a balance between what I'm doing in it and making sure there's value not only for those watching, but I do my best. As it says in the question rules, I do that due to streaming format, we may not have time for all questions, so I do apologize. I do my best. So if you could ask it again, that is appreciated as we are taking a little bit of time, to go and do this. So I do apologize. I do try to warn. That's why we have this. You can always join our Discord if you have questions. I am there very actively. You can also at KDCC staff in certain locations to get help a little bit more available. If I'm not around, trusted staff will are there to help you out. Geology Dude says that is why you are so awesome. Well, thank you for those kind words. But you know what else is awesome? Thinking of my viewers, and I'm thinking of them right now. And so when we look at our first 24-hour video performance, these are the things. My average performing videos can be shorts. There are going to be some long form. This is counting in the first 24 hours, right? So this is counting all 24 hours of how that video did, right? But if I change this to the last 7 days, this is the situation of how things do in 7 days can change versus there, right? So some of my live streams, they're not going to do well in the first 7 days, but they'll do way better later, right? And so that is the thing I would say when it comes to that. When you're looking at this, it's showing you how it performs across your videos in that time. And you can set the time here in the filter, right? So if I want to see, let's say I want to just see how my videos did in January to today. I'm going to swap that, and it's going to only show me the content that is here, right? So my average performing videos is some of my normal uploads, with shorts again doing a little better. That makes sense. 28 days, well, we don't have a lot of content in that 28 days. So again, this makes sense. But if we go 24 hours in this date range, which we have the ability to change, you can see the difference of the types, right? And you'll see it kind of climb through as we go. So that's the beauty of that report. And then real-time performance, how your content is currently performing, takes you right here. Lets you know I have 63 viewers in the last 60 minutes. 24 viewers have come for this live stream that we're live now. We've had the Made on YouTube stream, which in the last 48 hours has reached 522 views. Again, challenging can you actually get views on a live stream? Yes, 522 in the last. This being 2,198, I'm not upset with. People will see 15,000 subscribers. That's just how many people have said yes to the channel over time. 2,198 in front of me right now is larger than a Broadway theater. That is insane. The amount of people that have watched your own content. I've seen channels that have much higher. I've seen channels with much lower. I don't mind. It's just impressive to think about. And thank you, each and every one of you who've watched this far and who keep watching. So yeah, that is, again, to get to advanced mode, click advanced mode. These are all the different reports, and there's a lot of them. Another thing you can do is you can switch breakdown here. Traffic source will show you your traffic source. You can choose the date. If I only want February, this will show me my traffic source in February. If I only want geography for February, I can do that. I can set this to lots of things. If I want last 90 days, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. So I have a question, and this comes from Out and About with yours truly, Liz OC. Explain the difference between views and public watch hours. Perfect. Watch hours are how long people have been watching. It's your total aggregate of the hours, where views are people watching for at least 30 seconds. So one is total like watch time, which is your public watch hours, is how long those aggregated people have watched, where total views means people have watched for at least 30 seconds. So your watch time and your watch hours should be higher compared to your views. And that's normal, especially if you have longer form content. So watch time hours, estimated total hours of viewing time of your content from your audience, where views, total views for the selected date range, which again, estimated, keyword is estimated, total hours of viewing. Here's something else. And if I don't say this, and I should have maybe said this earlier, but it's important. YouTube Analytics is delayed by about 48 hours while they're calculating and figuring out everything. So if you see a super high spike in views and then 2 days later it's kind of averaged out, it could be an anomaly in YouTube's system. It could just be a bunch of things. So I'll tell you is that YouTube Analytics are delayed by those 48 hours. So give them some grace as they're calculating things. I know it can be disheartening. I've felt it before. I've seen other people feel it before. Just know that it's doing its best. This data is free and it's really cool. And I'm appreciative of it. Heck, we have more data now than we ever had in the past, which is why when people ask, is it a good time to be on YouTube? Yes, we have so much more tools and data than we ever had before. This is the time to be on YouTube. Can you tell I'm passionate? So the next thing I want to go as we go through here. Yes, and this is also true. Real time isn't final from Doug. It is also an estimation. Very well said, Doug. Want to make sure we take a moment to say that. So, as we go back to screen share, the thing we were on is geography. If I want to see content type, it'll break it down by videos, shorts, live streams, and it'll tell me the hours. It'll tell me, the average view duration. But this is, again, an average. It doesn't count into individual. If I want to add to this metric, maybe I want to see how different things do. I can see how my subscribers, I can add. You can click this plus and add things. You could also add by doing it here. These two graphs bring up metrics. It's just a different way to do it. So if I wanted to see, right, I don't have impressions click-through rate. I can do impressions click-through rate. Stayed to watch is a different one. So if we go to stayed to watch, how many viewers stayed to watch versus how many swiped away? This is for that shorts. It's a unique way to do it. And then you could then say average percentage viewed, right? And if I don't need this data, I can remove it. And again, this little bar then shows, and I can see average percentage viewed. I can see so many different things here. We're kind of getting complicated, so I'm going to close out of here. Get here, you go to advanced mode once again. And we're going to go to February. We're breaking it down this way. So we have now controlled this. You can also do this by groups. So if you've done creator focus tutorial, I made a couple groups back in the day. I could create a new group. A group is a different way. This is how I could group things. So I could say live stream. I could say channel review / audit. If I can type live streams. And so anytime what I could do channel audit, and it'll show me those that mention the audit in the name, and I could maybe compare and contrast how my audit streams do to these more tutorial streams like you're watching now, right? So this is a channel audit. I think I called them more reviews in the past, so maybe I look up channel review, and it lets me know, yep, here we go. So I can add all these. When it comes to maybe I want to compare these to how my current streams are doing, I can add all these to a group. Now, why would I maybe add these to a group? Well, I could add them to a playlist, but I don't think it makes the most sense. So we hit save. And now I have the channel review audit live stream. Groups is a cool feature. You get there by going to controls, clicking on your channel name where it should be. Then from all, you go to groups. And now I'm going to create a new group. I'm going to call this tutorial live streams. Now here, I know this one will be in there, so I'll add it early. A/B testing wouldn't count. This one, playlist, this one, this channel audits one I wouldn't put in. I wouldn't put in that one, but I would do this one. This is an interview. This is another tutorial. I would say these are my more recent ones, but I know I have some other tutorials. I think I have a TubeBuddy one from my time when I was there. So let's throw in the TubeBuddy one for a good measure. Why not? Let's go TubeBuddy. I have two, it looks like. I have a couple. Well, back then it made sense. And now let's do Adobe, because I know I have a couple of. Oh, nope, oh, wrong one. Tutorial live streams. I'm in the wrong area. Make sure you're in the right one. So now, I do see your comment, Geology. Too bad you can't divide groups into a number of subgroups. I guess you could manually do it, but it would be kind of cool if you could do it other ways. Adobe Express. I know I have a couple of Express streams. I want to add those into the contribution as it's searching. So this is the stream. Those are not the streams. This is a stream. This is another stream. Live stream. And then I think I have one on thumbnail, which I want to make sure I throw in. So you got to know your content well enough to be able to do the different things, right? There it is. Thumbnail full course. Thumbnails. Do this. This is one. This is one. So you got to know your more tutorials, right? And there's not as many, but it is more of a focus. I know we're getting deep here, but you should look and group your content by different content types, right? So if you do vlogs on your channel, and maybe it's a specific kind of vlog. If you're DIY like Larry, you should group each room into its own group. If you're like Beanie Draws, you should group dinosaurs by the kind of, dinosaur they are. Maybe it's a carnivore group. Maybe it is a herbivore group. Maybe there's an omnivore group. If you have different kind of content, you should have different kind of groups. I see Out and About with Liz OC. Public watch hours calculate the total of views into hours. Hours is what counts. Yes, very well said. You are getting a little bit ahead of me, but it's all good. But what you're saying is spot on. And I might be grossly oversimplifying some complex things. There are so many advanced tutorials out there. This is one of them. But there are some that can go maybe a little deeper, and maybe it deserves a follow-up only on advanced mode. But we're talking about it all. There will be timestamps. You should be using them if you're watching. And if you got this far, you probably are. Now, we're going back to the groups. And the thing here, when it comes to the groups, I've done that carnivore, herbivore, even down to ink versus pencil, says Beanie. Interesting. And I think we're in a good enough place for these. Now, why did I make these groups? And some people might ask, why don't I make these playlists? You could. I think groups for this need is a little better. I could also experiment with playlists. But there is the add comparison feature. If I click on it, I could compare my views to watch time hours. I could do by content, so I can select those groups and do my tutorial live streams versus my channel audit live streams. And now, if I add them to a comparison, I see which ones do better over time. At least in February, there's a clear winner, and it's not even close. I'll go full screen for you. So this is all that's behind me, so you can see it. I'm back. It's pretty much just a filter. But it's not even close. In terms of replay value, the tutorials have replay value. I love the channel review streams. I'll keep doing them. But this is also something. If you're trying to grow when it comes to live streaming, you have to understand if you're only doing community focused YouTube live streams, which is great. I love community streams. I do them all the time. They're not really great for growing your YouTube channel compared to when you do something like a tutorial live stream where there is a lot of replay value, or maybe you're doing a let's play live stream. There's a lot of replay value there. Maybe you're doing a cooking live stream where you do it from completely start to finish from scratch. A lot of replay value there. But if you're just maybe doing independent art things, or you're just like vibing, that's fine. Not every stream needs to be intentionally made with replay value in mind. Sometimes I have them and they're not, and it's fun. But you have to understand, if you're trying to grow with live streaming, or if you're trying to grow with shorts live streaming, having some focus, having some intentionality there can really make all the difference. So that's what I would tell you. And if you look here and we go back, it's not a wonder at all for me that these are outperforming. If we go to 2026, the view count is such a huge difference. We have 1,900 views compared to 14. Heck, if we go into the last 365 days, 5,000 views compared to 340. The value for the viewer is in those tutorial ones. And, that's the thing, right? When it comes to it, this one is doing well, but I talk about channel audits. It's AI tools, shorts, strategy, and creator fixes. You know, I could probably reword this. I probably could. Beanie says it himself. He's like, I feel like channel review could be rephrased. Look, people who watch it live know what it is, and that's a fair criticism. Maybe this is something where I could dive deeper, figure out how to make it valuable. But at the end of the day, that is not the only community stream I do. Q&A streams sometimes can do well depending on the questions, but ultimately what I found, and this is across multiple channels I've worked with, friends of mine have had this same kind of realization, is that live stream value, a lot of it happens when you watch live. A replay can be valuable if it's intentionally designed to be valuable. Doesn't mean not everyone was or is. And I see that out and about with yours truly. Lizzo has 4 channels. Power to you. That's incredible. So there's 4 different types of data. I do wish you could, and this, if they're all in the same account, this is like big thinking. I wish you could put all channel types, like all your channels, if they're on the same email, in together and compare those. That would be so much fun. I see this from out and about. I do run monthly reruns and post past videos on my community post to promote my past content. That is also a really good strategy. I've tried this. I haven't tried it a lot lately, but it is something I should do again. And I appreciate that. It's really good advice there. I see living with Parkinson's says my next live stream tomorrow will be on the history of Parkinson's disease. Hopefully that will have good replay value. Absolutely. With a title like that, and you have that intentionality of like, here's the beginning, here's the middle, here's the end. That's a way. And this is a great way to approach it. Beanie says, I'm mostly saying it could be rephrased after the fact for replay value because there's a thing to be learned even from others get reviewed. I've tried this on multiple channels. I've never found much success with it. And I think the problem of a live stream channel review is that it's so built for getting your channel reviewed if you're there that it's very hard to get the people who are watching to care about. Again, it's kind of like I kind of want to see myself reviewed. It's cool when others are, but a lot of times people watch it hoping it's them, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just something to consider, something I'm aware of. I don't do it for the replay. I do it for the community. There's a difference between your community and the audience you're trying to build. Your community is if you're wondering, the difference between community and audience is community are people who have been in your audience who have joined that next step. They've already said yes, they show up, they return. Your audience are people you not necessarily have reached yet. If you're only making content for your audience or your community there, then you're missing out on your broad and audience in general. Community and audience are not the same thing. Don't make that mistake. Now we still have more to go. So that's how you can do some group comparisons. And again, the way you get there. And if you notice my control, I go to all, go to my channel, then go to add comparison, go to content, groups, go to creator focus tutorial versus YouTube help. I had one called live stream sound videos back when I was doing vlogging. I had that. So let's do these again. Tutorial streams versus channel audit review streams. Add, that's how you do a group. Very fun, very easy. Different ways to do it. Remove comparison will take it to your first one there, so something to mind. But if I want to do another comparison, I could compare my views to my engaged views to my watch time hours. I could do average view duration to my average percentage viewed, which might make sense to compare. Let's add this comparison. And it's telling me that my average percentage viewed is about 3.7, but it is also including different kind of content. So if I want, I could maybe change that into playlist. Maybe that would be a little more valuable to me. I could also change that into content type. So this could be very helpful. It's now focusing on those live streams because I'm still in the live stream control group. If I go to my channel overall, one second, channel overall, sometimes you gotta exit advanced mode. One moment. Let's go back to my channel overall. Add comparison. There we go. We were in the live stream one. So if I want to do view duration to percentage viewed, just make sure you're in control to your channel overall. I could also do content, period over period is helpful. So if I want to compare, the last 28 days of the past to today, my last 28 days are better than my past, which is good. That means I'm growing. So this is a different way to see it. I have some days where it's much higher on both sides, right? So that's what you got to pay attention to. We'll remove the comparison. It'll keep to my channel. We could do year over year. Now, obviously, if it's comparing this, it might be a little different. It is, what it's comparing. You can click here. It looks like, it had a custom one there. Can I go back to the custom option? Yes. So 115.26 to that. Perfect. So it's the same dates. Very helpful to see. And it's good to check these if you're like, am I doing better than I was a year ago? Custom, you can add a lot here. So you could decide if I want to do, last 90 days from 2025, which is this same report in 2025 to the last 90 days to the same time now. I think I actually did that the wrong way. No, 25 to 26. I did do it the wrong way. So what I'm trying to do is instead of having 11, 14, 24, I'd want to see it compared to 25 to today, hit apply, and see what I'm at now. I am at a little less because you got to remember this is my last 90 recently. But I had some videos do a little better on video. Some shorts were newer. All this makes sense. None of this is surprising to me anyway. So again, you got to know your content. You got to know these different things. There's comparisons. There's lots of things you can do here. You can break this down by content type, playlist, post. You can look at cities. If I look at what cities in the last 90 days have represented, New York, doing well in New York. Thank you, New York City. LA, Sydney, Chicago, Alexandria in Egypt, Houston, Melbourne, London, St. Petersburg. Have you heard there's a rumor in St. Petersburg? Toronto, Manila, Philadelphia. These are all the cities. It's cool to see. I'm feeling like Mr. Worldwide right now, Pitbull with international love, even though most of those places are in the US. It's okay. But it's cool to see the different cities. You never know who shows up for you. Shout outs, New York, New York. Viewer age, again, gives you an idea. We appreciate all of them. And hey, our 0.1%, it's gone up in that 90 days. We kind of saw that earlier. Viewer gender, new and returning, I find very valuable. Again, impressions for those new people, but those returners, they click through. And again, my returning viewers watch a little longer than some of my new ones. Come on, Brisbane, watch more 8K, says Doug. Doug, thank you. I appreciate it. And I see out with yours truly, Lizzo, they got monetizing the second channel last year. Huge congrats. And they're working on their third and fourth now. Very nice. I'm hoping all the best. That's not easy to do, but you're doing it well. For those 35 Mises, Beanie, maybe. It's hard to say for exactly, but it could be. But I do find a lot of this fun. I like the new and returning, especially. I do believe it's limited to 90 days. I can check 365. It's not. But you can see that like 72,000 views came from my returning viewers, right? And this is all helpful data. If I want to go by audience by watch behavior, new viewers, 2 million. Casual viewers, 90,000. 2 million impressions. That's insane. Over the last year, my content has been in... Again, let's go to impressions. How many times your video thumbnails were shown to viewers, including only impressions on YouTube, not external? 2 million times is insane. Click-through rate, 5.9%. Casual viewers click a lot more at 7.7%. My regular are at 4.1, my lowest percent. Because just because someone subscribes doesn't mean they're going to watch all the time. But my watch hours, if you look here, what I'll tell you is your regular viewers, when they do click through, they come through, they watch longer. You'll probably see these in your little audience story reports from YouTube. This is kind of what they mean by that. Subscription status. 422,000 viewers were not subscribed. 6,578 views were. That's fine. This shows me that I should ask people to subscribe more. It works. I just don't always want to do it, and I'm guilty of it. Let me know if you know you need to ask people to subscribe and you don't do it too. I have a feeling I'm not alone. Now let's go to subscription source. This is interesting. A lot come from the YouTube watch page. Closed accounts means YouTube has closed the accounts. Reduction in subscriber count by removal of closed accounts. This is the last 365 days, so YouTube closed 317 accounts. Subscription channel list, that means they saw me on their feed, they unsubscribed. I have an A name, so I tend to be at the top of a lot of people's feeds. If you unsubscribed, I don't take it personally. I appreciate you for the time you're here. Other, could be anything, was closed before 12. This category is channel other and included. Fair enough. Subscription feed, that's fine. Interactive features, I got 6 subscribers from interaction features such as end screens, branding, watermarks. Community posts, 33 subs from that in the last year. Watch page means they're watching the video. Shorts, my channel, 106, so don't say you can't gain subscribers from that. This is a great question, and we're talking a lot about it, and it comes from geology, dude. Based on your statistics, how do you improve your channel now? Well, one of the things I saw is I don't ask people to subscribe enough. That's a signal I got from there, so I could work on that. I also need to be critical of when I'm making my YouTube videos. Am I adding enough value to the beginning of it, or am I accidentally adding all the value to the end? And the problem if I add it all in the end is they're not making it that far. So what I would tell you is what you can learn from this is study those retention graphs. Look at your impressions to impression click-through rate. Impressions are how many times YouTube showed it to a viewer. Click-through rate is when they click through after seeing your title, your thumbnail, all that. And then go a step further. How long are they watching? Are they satisfied? Are they watching multiple videos from there? That's how you can improve based on your data, your analytics, and your statistics. For me, what I'm seeing is I'm not doing a good enough job of asking people to subscribe, and or I'm not giving them enough value early enough for them to watch more. So, impressions are kind of scary, especially when they're in the multi-millions. That means you're doing something right. What I would be more scared of is impressions click-through rate. Do. Because if you have millions of impressions, but you have a low impressions click-through rate below the average, that's when you should be scared. Ooh. I joke, but it is actually genuinely scary. It can be harder than you think. We're not done though. There's so many things here. Average view duration. And notice how we can add multiple at a time. I can deselect all. But we're going down to the breakdown of subscription short. I can do YouTube product. I have 194 views on YouTube Music. Who found me there? And why are you watching longer? But to be fair, they're only watching longer because there's less of them, so it's averaged. That's still crazy. That's really crazy. Thanks for watching if you watched on YouTube Music. Device type is helpful. 24,000 on tablets. Nearly 23,000 of you have watched on TV. That's interesting. Now, Doug, I don't do any podcasts, though that is an interesting... Doug does say podcast. That's interesting. I don't really do any podcast. So I guess fair, but I wouldn't necessarily think of that. It's not a bad thing. It just kind of is what it is, you know? Just food for thought, I guess. Good shout though, Doug. I mean, it's scary when you are a naturally shy person around strangers, knowing multiple millions have watched the opportunity, have had the... Yeah, I mean, that's also scary. But look, at the end of the day, I don't regret publishing on YouTube, and that's a contract we sign up for. Now, I will say it is crazy to think of 23,000 people watching me on their TVs. Like, that is... Whoa. 24,000 on their tablet makes sense. Computer, this makes sense, but a lot of you are watching on your phone. But notice, though, some devices, TV, computer, they're willing to watch longer. Phones, tablets, a little less. I know you can turn your streams into podcast, Beanie. I just kind of tend not to. It's just, I may have accidentally done it, but that'd be my best guess, and it's a really good one there. Operating system is interesting, especially like I've seen people, they're like, oh, I have an iPhone channel. Why is all my viewers talking about Android? Well, do you though? Because if I said I had an iPhone channel, I'd be wrong statistically. More people are watching on Android, even though I have an iPhone. I also have an Android device. I make all my content on Windows, so saying I have a Windows more based audience makes sense. Roku, PlayStation, Linux, these are the different ways, different OSs. I have seen in our year 2025 a Wii viewer. Oh, thank you. If you watched me on your Wii, I appreciate you so much. But you can also see gaming consoles. It's kind of fun to see that. My shout outs to my 1 viewer. We appreciate you here. Revenue source, these are for your monetization. Transaction is for ads. Dates, I find can be fun. So, like, you can see which date you had the most viewers if you sort by viewers. So, November 21, my viewers showed up. It's pretty random, but November seems to be a pretty good month for me. You can see which date you individually had the most views. You can see which date you had the most watch time. Apparently, October 16th, they showed up. They showed out. So yeah, it's kind of fun to see date breakdown. I do find that funny. November 21 makes kind of sense. It's kind of when our business started, so maybe just we keep doing big events then. That kind of checks. Subtitles and closed captions are interesting, especially in the last kind of year. I actually might switch this to 26 to get a different view state because Spanish is 82. A lot of these are auto translated. If you're wondering about those auto dubbing features, Italian. If I want to go by views, I can. At least it should be. I'm curious why it's not. Pardon me. Actually, I want to see who's watching the longest and done. Oh, Bosnian viewers showing up for 23 minutes in translation, followed by Latvian, English, which is weird because like I'm already speaking in English. So are you watching me? Fair enough. But why not my English ones I put in? But it could just be YouTube defaults to the English. Good to know. But if you're wondering on video info language, similar, you can see which they're translating to. We have Spanish showing up high here. We have English, Spanish, German, Portuguese, aka Brazilian, Spanish, United States, which is different than Spain Spanish and different from Mexican Spanish. We have the Dutch, we have Indonesians, we have lots of different people all around the world. And that's the coolest part about YouTube to me. An audio track is helpful if you're wondering how am I showing up in my dubs here. So dubbing can be a thing, and it is a thing. Based on audio tracks, seems my Spanish audience, Portuguese, Hindi, German, these make sense. And if you speak multiple languages and have them here, you can see that too. I speak a little bit of Indonesian, mostly fluent in English. You can also see translation used, translated versus original. There's so much. That's pretty fun. It's really cool to see. End screen elements, I can see how many people see them and click through. So this one was shown. So people make 605 viewers made it to the end, and only 3.1% click through, where this one 7.2% click through. And that's 167. This one has more views, get better audio, you know. Oh, the playlist. And okay, this is a playlist. It'll tell you the type. That's cool. Again, we got a lot of stuff. There are probably more than 5 to 6 Spanish groups. It might just be what YouTube classifies, but there's a lot of different dialects in Spanish. Same with English. But I think you're right on that might be how much YouTube has, but there are, I believe, more than that in the world. But if we're talking strictly YouTube, I believe you're correct. And then I can do end-screen element type. So if I want to see which one does the best, for me, no one is subscribing with a subscribe, even though they do see it. They may already be subscribed, but they are watching other videos. Interesting though, it's more effective, and I know this, and I tell people this, it's more effective when you have a purpose targeted video than when you have a general video here. And you're going to see that, and you're going to keep seeing that kind of thing. This is why people talk about it in best practice. This is usually the same for me. Playlists actually do better than best for viewer for me because I can keep them in that session, and it does really well. Really good that you track these different things. And again, we will have we'll have those timestamps, those chapters. Card can be helpful. Card will let you know which ones are doing well, how many has been shown, teaser clicks. So these are different ways you can do it. And then again, we have card type. So if you're looking at this, you can see the card types. The breakdowns here, we've gone through a lot of them. Playback location is the watch page. Most people are watching on the watch page. Shorts feed, 4,000 have watched from embedded websites. So 95, that's not bad. Browse features on the homepage, channel page, 83, so it's not 0. And that's so far in 26. This is only going to get more as I put out more content, which I plan to do. So I got bad at not telling people to subscribe, so please subscribe, I guess. Again, the data's showing it. Player type, YouTube main, YouTube standard embed. 5 people watch for education. Thank you to those. Thank you for all of you. But I always like I always try to see the interesting ones. Not that it's not all interesting. Sharing service is cool. A lot of my shares come from people copying to the clipboard, WhatsApp, so some people sharing on WhatsApp, text messages, other, which could be anything, directly via system share dialogue, Facebook Messenger, Facebook, share to Discord, Twitter, Gmail, Embed, share to WhatsApp Business, Samsung Notes. Shout outs to my Samsung Notes, I guess. And that is all of the breakdown. And that is still not all of YouTube Analytics. If you want to learn more, if you have any more questions, please consider joining our Discord server. We have so many people there. I'm Andrew Can. If you want to learn more about anything we talk about today, you should check out that video that talks about YouTube Analytics explained for beginners. Very helpful. Thank you all so much for watching, and I